Hi, I'm finally back. Did you think that I had just left and I'm now living in French Polynesia on the beach in a hut with flowers on my hair and a garland around my neck? Not that I didn't think about that in the last few weeks. I'm sure some of you are aware that I've been very sick, and I'm sorry about that. What I thought was just a little cold, well, no, it wasn't. I had a really bad case of what I like to refer to as pneumonia, but we all know it's pneumonia. Anyway, I'm back. I still have a little bit of a hard time talking for very long. My voice starts to trail off into a frog imitation, but it is what it is. I wanted to thank everybody. Oh my God, there are so many people who sent me lovely notes and called and said, oh, we miss you and get better. So that was very, very kind. And that's a really nice thing when you're sick, that you realize that people haven't really forgotten about you and they care. So I thank you for that. That is very, very sweet. So without further ado, I would like to tell you a story. And this one is called Waiting for an Angel, which I think under the circumstances is appropriate, because I have to admit, about a month ago, I really did not think I was going to pull through this. So anyway, here we go, Waiting for an Angel. I was at that point about 7, and I've always been, those people who know me well know I'm very nosy. So I'm sort of like a cat. Oh my God, that door's closed, open it, what's in there? So I was in school and I could hear all these little kids talking and laughing, and I thought, okay, what's going on? I gotta go, I have to find out. So I walked down the hallway, turned around the corner, and that's where a big staircase was going up to the second floor. And there were at least 20 or 25 little kids sort of in a circle, and they were all laughing, and I couldn't figure out what it was. So of course, you know me, I bustled on over there, and there was a little girl lying at the bottom of the steps. Her little satchel had opened up, and her notebooks and pencils, they were strewn all over the floor. And one of the kids that I had some issues with, he was sort of the school bully. He was quite large. I think he was like at least 2 or 3 classes above me. He was a big bully looking kind of fat kid with lots of freckles and red hair. And he is that kid that at one point knocked my piece of bread into the dirt and I punched him, but that's another story. He was saying, oh, look at the cripple. Well, why don't you get up? Why don't you get up? And everybody was laughing, and I'm like going, what? This little kid fell, this little girl, and you're laughing and you think this is funny? This is not funny. This is horrible. And this little girl was crying. On her right leg, she had they looked like iron bars. I'd never seen anything like it. And then this specialty shoe, and I'd seen her before. She walked with crutches, but this leg was in this metal contraption, which, you know, I had no idea what that meant, but she couldn't get up because of that. So I thought, okay, well, this isn't gonna work, so forget this. So I sort of bustled my way through there, and I went over to help her to get up. And the bully said, oh, okay, all right, wait a minute. You're that gypsy girl. Oh, this is great. So the little cripple and then the weirdo, yeah, you should become friends. You're like perfect for each other. And I can tell you right now, if you help her, you are gonna regret it. And I just acted like I didn't hear him. All I could hear was my dad saying, you know what? When you see either an animal or a person that needs help, if you can help them, you need to do that. You have to go help. Whether it's, you know, I don't care whether it's a dog or He regretted that later because I used to bring animals home all the time, but that's, again, another story. Anyway, I helped her to get up and I helped her put all her stuff together. So then, the kids didn't think it was interesting anymore, so they all left. So I found out that the fat kid with the freckles, his name was Johan, and he came over and he said, "Look, you little freak, this is a real mistake that you're helping her, because you know what?" And I thought to myself, well, that's really too bad, but guess what? I'm not afraid of you. My dad is teaching me how to knock somebody out with hitting them under the chin and then on the nose. So, I can handle this. Anyway, I got the little girl all back up and she sat on the step, and oh my God, she was crying and just inconsolable. And I put all our stuff together, and so I said, what's your name? And she said, oh, my name is Angelica. And she said, I really am so glad you helped me, but I wish you wouldn't have, because he's really mean. He is really gonna be horrible from now on. And I said, don't worry about it. It's okay. From that day on, we became friends. I only usually saw her at school, but her and Rosemary, the three of us, we sort of, we all liked each other. But Angelica was just this very sweet little girl. I don't know what was wrong with her, but she looked sickly. She just didn't look like, she was okay. But I had this wonderful friendship with her. I frequently got into trouble because I would talk her into not going back into the classroom. And I would show her something that I had seen, maybe down the road. I would notice flowers, and I would notice dogs that I liked, or cats. Another thing I really liked were pretty front doors. And there were a lot of old carved doors. And I would say, Angelica, don't go back, We were in the same classroom, and we actually ended up sitting together in the back row next to each other. And I would send her little notes, and, she'd laugh at you. But I could talk her into doing this, of not going back to class. Of course, then we always got really into big trouble. But we thought that was fun, because the teacher obviously was not as smart as these two little girls, because first she would say, all right, Aranka, you're in trouble, get up, stand in the corner. And of course I'd have to stand like this. Then Angelica would do something, and she'd say, oh, okay, you stand in the corner. Now the classroom, that was like an uproar. Then she would tell us to go in the hallway. Hello, well, that was great, because then I would say, oh, come on, she's teaching, she's not gonna come out. Let's walk and try to figure out what that house is in back of the school. I mean, we had a good time. The teacher just thought that we were disruptive and horrible, but it was what it was. Anyway, one day I came to school and she wasn't there. So I thought, oh, well, this is not good. Where is she? I finally found out from one of the teachers that actually liked me, which there was only one, that Angelica was sick and she was in the hospital. And I asked her if she could help me figure out, where she was. So she was very sweet. Yes, she did. And then I said to her, I really would like to see Angelica. Do you think that's possible? She said, well, they're not going to let you in, but I know that you're very good friends, and I'll take you. We'll go over there so that you can see her. So that was really fun. So I went to this hospital with her, and it was huge. When we finally got to this room, I didn't even think she was in the bed. There was just this little lump. And yeah, there she was. And the teacher said, you know what? I'm just gonna let you talk alone. I'll wait out in the hallway. When she saw me, she burst into tears, and she went, oh my God, I can't believe you came, and I've been saying to my angels that I really want to see you. And then she said, "Oh, Anka, you believe in angels, don't you?" And I said, "Oh yeah, I talk to them." And she said, "You do?" And I said, "Yeah, they're all the flowers where I work in the nursery. I think all the flowers have little flower angels, and I talk to them all the time." And she said, "Oh, wait a minute. Is that why you got in trouble in the classroom when they said that you had to go to the principal? Because you said you were talking to flowers and that they were angels, and they said that if you were going to continue to do that, they were going to send you away to a different kind of school because you're nuts." I said, "Yeah, that was it." And she said, "Well, what happened?" I said, "Well, my dad had to come to school, and when they explained to him that he had a daughter that was, like they said, cuckoo, when we walked home, my father said, 'Okay, so here, we've got to make a deal. I know you talk to animals, I know you talk to trees, I know you talk to flowers. I want you to continue to do that. Don't ever let anybody talk you out of that. But here are the rules. The rules are that you don't tell other people that you're doing that, because people don't understand that. They think that there's something wrong with you. You tell me, you talk to me, your mom, your grandma, because we all know you're sort of special." And I said, "Really? I don't think so. I'm just a little kid." And he said, "Just believe me. You talk to angels, and that's just fine. Just don't mention it in school anymore. And if they ask you, you just say, 'Oh, no, my papa explained it to me. It was a phase.' And then everything is fine." And Angelica said, "Oh, I'm so glad that you talk to angels. Why do you think adults don't do that?" And I said, "I'm not sure. I don't really know. Maybe, they're too busy working." But I said, "I think all children know that." Because I said, "You know it, and I know it." And she said, "You know what? I've been telling my mother," and she got very upset. "I've been telling the nurses, and they all have said, 'You stop doing that. That's crazy talk. There's no such thing. Just forget it.'" And she said, "But you know what? I am talking to angels, and they've told me that I can come with them." And I said, "Well, would you like to go with them?" And she said, "Well, they said that where I go with them, I won't hurt anymore. And I would really like to go. But they're telling me that I shouldn't talk about it, and no, it's nuts." And I said, "You know what?" I said, "I think it's because they love you. They're afraid. But," I said, "if you talk to angels and they tell you to go and to a place where you don't hurt, if in your heart you want to do that," I said, "I think you should. Just don't tell the adults, because I don't know what they would do. Maybe they can make you not believe this anymore." I said, "I'm not sure. I don't know. But just like my dad told me to not tell adults, my dad is really smart. So I think you should do that too." And she said, "Yeah, I think I will." She said, "But you're my best friend, aren't you?" And I said, "Yes." And she said, "I always want to be friends." I said, "Okay, we can do that." We hugged each other. And when we looked at each other, we didn't say anything else, but I think she understood, and I certainly thought, that's it, I will never see her again. And she just said, "I love you so much. You are my best friend." It was so sweet. And when I was so sick a month ago, I thought about her, and I felt, I don't know, I sort of felt that moment. And I'm really glad that I was able to be there with her and for her. It was really special. It wasn't a long friendship, but after all these years that I could sort of still see her in my mind. And it was really special, very, very special. So I know wherever she went, but I was glad that I could be there. And that's my story for today. Thank you.